Hey everyone, it's Jenna from Cruise Blog, and today we're going on a full ship tour of the Royal Princess. Let's jump in. The Royal Princess is a large ship by Princess Cruises, and her maiden voyage was in 2013. She's the first ship in the Royal class, and when she was built, was the biggest cruise ship in the fleet. The Royal Princess sails in the Pacific Ocean, splitting her time between Alaska and Australia and New Zealand. Whether you're sailing on the Royal Princess to the chilly glaciers of Alaska or the tropical beaches of the South Pacific, you're sure to have a great time on board. In today's tour, we're going deck by deck to look at all of the venues, lounges, and things to do on the Royal Princess. First, let's start with the pool deck. So the pool deck is the hub of any cruise ship, and it's where you'll go to watch the scenery, to sunbathe, or to just take a dip in the pool. While you won't use the pool as much on an Alaska cruise, this area is sure to be a lot more popular on the cruise ship's South Pacific, Australia, and New Zealand itineraries. On the main pool deck, you'll find one large pool and one smaller pool, as well as several hot tubs. You'll also find a television screen for watching movies, and there's usually a movie playing each night of the cruise. In the middle of the pool deck, there's this fountain that is also used as a stage for some sail-away parties. And the pool deck has several decks. It's not just one deck, so you have the main pool deck where the pools are, and then you have an upper pool deck which has a running track and some other viewing points as well. Now, cruise ship pools are never super big, but there are enough spaces definitely on this pool deck to take a dip in the pool. And as you can see, even in Alaska, there were many passengers swimming and using the pools, but you have to really luck out with the weather in order to do this. Now, the hot tubs can get a little crowded, so if you want to go, I would recommend getting there early, maybe going to the pool deck before breakfast, because midday they can get extremely busy. The one thing on Royal Princess is that the hot tubs aren't very large compared to some other cruise ships out there, so I personally did not use the hot tubs during my time on board, but there were times when there was no one in them, and this would be a good time to use them. Now, Princess Cruises, unlike some other cruise lines, does not require you to check out pool towels, so you can simply just go to the pool and grab a pool towel. And there's also life jackets for kids to use that are free of charge. And there's a ton of seating on the pool deck. Now, there are comfy seating or just traditional pool loungers. You really won't have trouble finding a chair, especially if you're on a cold weather cruise. If you luck out with some nice weather, you can, grab a drink or a coffee and sit out here and enjoy the views. And there's also a few bars on the pool deck. So this bar here, I like it because it faces all of these windows so you can enjoy your drink while looking at the ocean views. It's a plus if you're sailing through glaciers. These are these big windows right there. It's just a really beautiful spot of the pool deck. Now, something I really enjoyed on the Royal Princess were these glass walkways. Not only were the views amazing, but you could see below you. It was pretty terrifying to say the least, but just walking over that is definitely something you have to try while you're on the ship. And this particular one is located near to the ice cream stand, which we'll get to later. And after a long day of swimming, you're going to be hungry, so there are a few food options on the pool deck that are complimentary. The first is Prego Pizzeria, and this is where you can find slices of pizza that are totally free, and I actually found the pizza to be quite good at this restaurant. Some cruise lines don't have the best complimentary pizza, but I really enjoyed it. And next to it is another pool bar where you can get your favorite cocktails, whether tropical drinks or just a beer, and that's really convenient. And then there's Trident Grill. Now, this was probably my favorite complimentary dining option on the pool deck. This is where you could get things like loaded fries and tacos. My sister really enjoyed these chicken chipotle lime tacos, whereas I enjoyed the vegetarian option, which were sweet potato and black bean tacos. Now, the line could get a little long for this during the peak hours, so I would recommend going a little earlier for lunch, maybe around 11:30, so that way you don't have to wait very long. But overall, it was a great complimentary option. And next is what I perhaps loved the most about the Royal Princess, and that is swirls. So at Swirls, you could get different flavors of ice cream every day. It wasn't just chocolate and vanilla, and it was so good. I looked forward to it every day, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times a day. It was that good. And all along the pool deck, you will see seating. So this seating here is an overflow from the buffet, which we'll get to in a little bit. So if you get food at the buffet and it's crowded in there, or you would just rather be outside, you can sit here. And here is the upper pool deck that I mentioned earlier. So here you'll find more seating, and you'll also find a couple more hot tubs. Now, I like sitting up here. It's more sunny because there's not as much shade. Like below, you can see there's more shade. So if you're looking to get a suntan or you need to warm up in whatever sunlight you can find in Alaska, this is a great option. There's also this tiered seating, which is a good spot to watch sail away or just people watch and hang out. And it was convenient that there were already towels on these chairs, so you didn't have to go find a towel. And if we keep going up, there's even more spots to watch the views. So this is the top deck of the pool deck, so you can keep walking upwards. And there's actually like this fake lawn there, and sometimes they had chairs there, so it just depends. But this is an amazing spot to watch the views. So as you can see, this is one of the best views you can get. You can see all over the pool deck. If you're going through a scenic area like in New Zealand or in Alaska, this is the spot to go as long as it's not too windy. I watched sail away from over here when we were leaving Seattle, and there were far less people than on other parts of the pool deck. And on the lower decks, just below this, there are some more seating areas. So this is another good sail away spot. I watched a few sailaways here in Alaska, and it was just more of a panoramic view. You got to see in most directions, so I enjoyed that a lot. So there are 3 decks like that, and those are kind of hidden gems because not a lot of people go there to sit. And there's additional seating on the sides of the upper pool deck. This is nearing the back of the ship, and that's another option for sunbathing. And then as we go toward the back of the ship, we find the running track, which leads to the sports deck. Here you can walk on one side and run on the other, and there's awesome views from this area. And the running track was actually a really popular spot on my cruise. It's better than running on a treadmill for sure, especially in these not so hot temperatures of Alaska, so you can just get a nice exercise in with these amazing views in every direction. It's honestly so beautiful up here. And then as we go back to the sports deck, you'll see this little golf area. Now, I didn't use this, but people were using it every day of the cruise. And then there's also a sports court where you could find pickleball, basketball, soccer, any type of sports activity. There were either free play hours or organized activities, so you'll want to check the daily schedule to see what is going on there, and it can be a lot of fun. And for this, you will have to have closed-toed shoes, so just remember to pack some tennis shoes in your bag. And then there are also some ping pong tables. This is also free, so you can challenge your travel mate to a game of ping pong. And then above that is the mini golf area. It's not the most innovatively designed mini golf course out there, but hey, it's another free activity and it can be a lot of fun. And this is open at any time of the day. It's not like scheduled hours, so whenever you want to play a round of mini golf, you can. Mini golf is one of those cruise ship activities that's just fun to do when you really don't know what else to do, but you want to be outside enjoying the nice fresh air. And then this area is in the back of the ship, and I really enjoyed this space. The only thing I didn't like were that these chairs were next to a smoking area, which is right here on the right. So I felt like I couldn't enjoy the area as much without the smell of smoke, but nonetheless, it was a pretty view. And this smoking area here has some nice seating, and it's far away from the public areas, so you won't smell the smoke from other areas on the ship, which was really nice. But yeah, the chairs here have a great view of the wake. I prefer the bar below this for views and just for general atmosphere, but this was a nice space and it's pretty underrated on the ship if you ask me. Now this area of the pool deck is back on that main deck where the main pool is, and it's the retreat pool, and this is an adults only area. Now, I didn't think this was the best spot for an Alaska cruise, but if you're sailing to a warm weather destination, I imagine this area would be an awesome place to spend the entire day. So here you'll find more seating, and it'll be a little bit more of a tranquil atmosphere, of course. And they also have these shaded structures. Now, I imagine they would put seating there. Nothing was there during my cruise because no one was really using this space, but it was a nice pool area. And I always like adults only areas for the atmosphere and just the more calm environment compared to when there's a lot of kids on the main pool deck. And the water is moving really rapidly because of the wind, but you could still use this pool even with the more inclement weather. And there are hot tubs here too, and I always prefer the hot tubs in the adults only areas compared to the main pool deck. And there's a bar here as well, and this bar is a little bit less crowded than the main bar, so if you're looking for a cocktail without having to wait for a while for your drink, then I would come here, and it's open whenever this pool area is open. So I didn't really utilize this space much on my cruise just because of the weather, but if I were sailing to the South Pacific, I would be here all day, every day. Next to the retreat, you'll find the sanctuary, which is a private area that you have to purchase a spot for. So you can reserve this area for around $20 for a half day and $40 for a full day, or you can rent one of these cabanas. Now these come at an extra cost, but this is just the perfect spot to enjoy a relaxing sea day. You have a TV, couch, service, everything you could ever need, and this area is very nice if you're looking to splurge on your vacation. While there's no pool in this area, it's right next to the retreat pool, so you can go swim and then come back to your private oasis. You can also get massages in this space. It's a really beautiful area to hang out. And it is open air, so I don't think it was used much in Alaska, but I'm sure it's more popular on warm weather cruises. All right, after all that swimming, I'm sure you're hungry, so let's go to the Horizon Bistro, which is the main buffet. Here, this is open for all meals of the cruise, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and there's a variety of options. I was pretty impressed with the options at the buffet. You have healthy items like salad bars, dessert areas, sandwiches, chicken nuggets, ethnic food, everything you could ever want, you could find here. My personal favorite was this ramen noodle station. I ate this just about every day of the cruise. It was so good. And there's more salad bars here and fruit. I especially loved breakfast here, where I could get some really good French toast and bagels, and it was just a really convenient option. Now, you can eat in the main dining room for most meals, but I typically preferred the buffet just because it was so quick, and there's also nice views up here. And the pastry shop is located in the buffet, and that's where you'll find all of the desserts on the Royal Princess. I found the desserts in the main dining room to be a lot better than the options in the buffet, but still they weren't bad, and I definitely liked getting some of these cookies and brownies and putting ice cream on top for a deluxe sundae. So I did that more often than I would like to admit. And the buffet has a ton of seating all around it, and they have these big windows, so I enjoyed coming here to look for wildlife while we were sailing through Alaska. And overall, I found the options to be quite good. I always enjoy going to a cruise ship buffet. I just love how many options there are of so many different cuisines. You don't have to pick from a limited menu like in the dining room. And like these noodles, oh my god, they were so delicious and spicy. And yeah, I just really enjoyed coming to the buffet on the Royal Princess. It got busy during certain times, like right before you got off in port, but most of the time it was pretty chill here, and I spotted so many whales and different wildlife from up here. So yeah, I really enjoyed my time at the buffet. In the back of the buffet is the Outrigger Bar. This was probably my favorite bar on board, especially if the weather was nice and sunny. They had some seating here from the buffet as well, so you could come and bring your plate and eat out here if the weather was good. And the views from back here were just amazing, especially during some particularly scenic sailaways, like when you sail away from Skagway, Alaska, and there's huge mountains on both sides. I loved this spot. And sometimes they even had live music over here, so this spot got really busy. And as you can see, there are a lot of people here. There's also a bar in this space so you can get a drink. And the drink service was pretty quick at this bar in my experience. And there were several bartenders working at all times, so that was a good thing. And yeah, the seating here was just really nice. If you want to watch Sail Away here, get here early, because those chairs up at the front near the guardrail are the ones to grab if you want a comfortable plush chair to watch the sail away. And again, here is Skagway, Alaska sail away. Totally beautiful. You could see glaciers and everything, and the Outrigger Bar was the place to watch it. All right, now let's head inside to the piazza. And this is the atrium on the Royal Princess. It's 3 decks high, and this is where you'll find a variety of lounges, restaurants, bars, and a lot of onboard activities like this dance class you can see. So the piazza refers to the bottom floor, but in general, the atrium is the hub of inside activities and programming on the ship. I enjoyed listening to live music in this area. They also had some presentations on Alaska, including one where they brought sled dog puppies on the ship, so I thought that was really cute. Here are the little sled dog puppies. It was so adorable, and you could go and pet them, but I didn't want to wait in line. But if you want to do this in Alaska, it's one of those cultural enrichment activities that I really enjoyed about Princess. And there are a lot of seating areas here. Now, these seats could fill up quickly, so if there's some event you want to see, whether it's, a presentation from the cruise director or a live musician, definitely get there early to snag one of the best seats there. I found the atrium to be really beautiful on this ship, so if you're looking for those cruise photos in your formal wear, this is the place to do it. They'll have photographers set up here on every formal night. One of the bars in the piazza is Vines, and this is a wine bar, so you can find a variety of different wines here, although you can also order other drinks as well. And this is a big space. There are wines on the rack in the back, and there's some seating by the windows, which I enjoyed. If you're looking for a quiet place to sit, this is a pretty good spot. While you'll hear some sound of the atrium, like music or just people talking, there's a lot of seating here, so you probably won't have trouble finding a place to sit. And there's also some seating with windows, which is very well appreciated. Next door, you'll find Gelato, which is a not very creative name for the ship's gelato shop. I did not have gelato here because I found the complimentary soft serve on the pool deck to be totally satisfactory. But if you want to pay extra for some more specialty ice cream, you can come here to the gelato shop and there's some seating in here, or you can take it to go. And they'll have a variety of different flavors each day of the cruise, but I still think that the soft serve ice cream is the way to go. And next door, there is a duty-free shop that has some chocolate and snacks and toiletries. And next to that is the internet cafe, so if you don't have a device, you can use the computers there with the internet. And then next to that is another bar in this piazza area, just a pretty generic bar, but you can get your favorite drinks there as well. And we also have the International Cafe, so this is a complimentary grab-and-go spot with things like sandwiches, pastries. It's a convenient spot to grab some food if you don't want to deal with the crowds in the buffet in the morning or during lunch. And you can also get specialty coffee drinks here, and those do cost extra. One thing about this is that they had like the same food items here as in the buffet, so I wouldn't make a special trip down if you're already in the buffet. But they do have a couple more sandwiches that maybe they don't have at the buffet. So that's a convenient option if you're hungry and are just walking around the atrium. Also on this deck is guest services, and if you have any problems on the ship with your billing, or you have a question, or you need some advice, or anything, any concern you have, they can answer your questions here at guest services. And there's also a shore excursion desk here too, and this is where you can ask about different shore excursions, or if you have any questions, concerns, or comments about a shore excursion, you can share them here. And next door is Sabatini's, which is an Italian specialty restaurant. So if you're going to Sabatini's, and I could not film in here, so I just have some photos, you can enjoy some classic Italian dishes like branzino, some gamberi, which are some shrimp, some lobster, some steak, and of course some pasta. They have some seafood pasta, some short rib over penne pasta, and for the vegetarians out there, they have some manicotti with spinach, ricotta, and fontina cheese. This does cost extra as a specialty restaurant, but they do have some nice options. But if you want some complimentary Italian food, you can go to Alfredo's Pizzeria. Now, I didn't even know this was here until like the last day of my cruise, and I regretted not knowing because it was so good. Alfredo's is totally free, and it's a sit-down experience that had 3 courses. So we had some soup, salad, pizza, and some dessert, and the pizza was so delicious. It was probably like 3 times better than the pizza on the pool deck, which was still really good. And this apple tart was also delicious. You don't have to make a reservation for Alfredo's, but they usually have a little bit of a wait. We had to wait about 20 minutes for a table, but it was well worth the wait. I would definitely recommend eating here. You'll also find the photo gallery in the atrium area. So if you get any photos taken by the ship's photographers, you can browse them and purchase them here. And you can also buy some cameras or accessories like memory cards if you're running out of storage space. They'll print the photos out so you can browse other people's photos if you're bored, and people will be able to see your photos as well, and then you can purchase photos individually or buy the package. Now, I don't usually take photos by the ship's photographers because I feel like cameras these days and phones take good enough photos, but there is something nice about getting a professional photo, and they also have a portrait studio, so if you want a professional studio session, you can book that as well. And attached to the photo gallery is this area where you can learn more about the Princess Medallion, which is your special key card that you wear around your neck or on your wrist. And you can buy accessories for it as well, like different bracelets and different necklaces. I really enjoyed using the Princess Medallion. It's very technologically advanced, like my stateroom door would open automatically when it sensed that I was coming near it. And they also have these TV screens for more information about the ship in this space. Next door is Bellini's, and this is a champagne bar, but they also can do other drinks. So if you're looking for a nice champagne, then this is the place to go. And then we have Crooners Bar. This was another one of my favorite bars on the Royal Princess, mostly because it had really nice views of the outdoors, and they also had live music here several times throughout the week. The seating here was nice too. It was never overly crowded. I always was able to find a seat, and I enjoyed listening to the live music and looking outside at the scenery. If you don't have a drink package, I found the drinks on Princess to be pretty reasonable. Some were only about $10, which is pretty cheap for a cruise ship drink, so I was able to enjoy more cocktails than I would have if the drinks were priced at like $15 or $16. And if you can snag one of these window seats, you could just stay here all day. It's really nice in there. And this is attached to the promenade deck, which is a lower outside deck where you can walk and look at the ocean views. And now this is way less crowded than the main pool deck, so I liked coming here maybe when we were sailing through a scenic area or visiting glaciers. And I also spotted so much wildlife from this area, so I would just come and look and see if I could see anything, and I was able to see a couple hundred sea otters while our ship was visiting Glacier Bay National Park. And I enjoy coming here a lot more than the pool deck sometimes just because it's really peaceful and you're also closer to the water, so it feels a little bit more immersive compared to watching everything from so up high when you're on the pool deck. Like these beautiful mountains in Glacier Bay National Park, which was a total highlight of sailing on Princess Cruises to Alaska. And then we have the Future Cruise Center. So if you're having a really fun time on your Princess Cruise, you can come here to book a cruise, and you might get some special offers for booking the cruise while you're on a cruise. Then we have Ocean Terrace Seafood Bar, and this is where you can get sushi and different seafood. So if you're looking for something a little bit different than the main dining room or the buffet, you can find cuisine here that you cannot find on other areas of the ship. And plus, you have a nice view of the atrium from here, so it's great for people watching. So if you're a sushi lover, you will love Ocean Terrace. Then we have a lot of shopping on the Royal Princess, so all of the shops are kind of in one area here on deck 7. So if you're looking for, watches, jewelry, clothing, you can find it all here. They usually have some deals too, and they might even have some different seminars where you could learn about the different jewelry pieces. I'm not much of a shopper myself, but many people enjoy shopping on cruise ships, and they definitely put a lot of shops on the Royal Princess. However, I did enjoy browsing the souvenir store, which is where you can get Alaska and princess-specific souvenirs. They had some seriously cute souvenirs that were Alaska themed. The clothing and rain jackets were nice as well, so if it's way colder than you expected or it's supposed to rain all week and you did not pack appropriately for your cruise, you can buy some items here. The items available for sale might change when the cruise ship changes destinations, like when they're in Australia, but at least in Alaska, you can buy all of these specific souvenirs. The souvenirs in your Alaska cruise ports will probably be cheaper than what you'll find here, but if you're looking for a princess-specific souvenir, this is the place to go. All right, let's see what else is next in this area. This is kind of like a little atrium, so we'll get to the casino in a little bit. That is down there, but across from the souvenir store is the art gallery. Now, I would not recommend buying art on cruise ships. If you do any research, it's a little bit shady, but if you want to just browse the art, you can walk around and look at the different art pieces. They have some art auctions during the cruise. Even though I don't support this art selling on cruise ships, sometimes I like to go to the art auctions just because they give free champagne. But if you're looking to browse art, this is where you'll go. And then next to that is another shop with some souvenirs and some items that you can buy. All right, downstairs we have the casino, and I spent a little more time than I was expecting in here on my cruise. It's not the biggest casino I've ever seen on a cruise ship, but it had pretty much everything you could want. It had table games and slot machines, and you could actually put your onboard credit toward the casino. So when I found out I had $100 onboard credit, I was able to use it to try my luck at winning some money. And let's just say I didn't win, but it was a lot of fun anyway. But just make sure you cash out your winnings if you win before the cruise is over, because this will not be open when your cruise ship is docked in port. Next door we have Club 6, and this is a sports bar that is kind of hidden off to the side of the casino. It's a big area and no one was ever in here when I walked by. So if you're looking for a quiet place to hang out or maybe read a book, this is a great spot to do it. And there's a couple more slot machines in here too. And there's a ton of TVs that you can use to watch your favorite game. So if you're looking to watch the Super Bowl or watch a soccer game or the World Cup, here's where you can do it. Now you'll have to ask about the exact games being shown. And so if you go to guest services, they may be able to give you a schedule. And there's also a little dance floor here too in this space. So Club 6 was a really quiet area on the ship. Next door we have Churchill's Cigar Lounge, and this is where you can smoke cigars on the ship. All right, let's keep going, and we're going to be walking into this back area on deck 7, where you'll find a lot of different spaces and seating and bars and restaurants and lounges. So first we have the Cafe at Princess Live, and this is where you can get specialty coffee drinks. I really enjoyed the chocolate cookie latte. It was so delicious. It was probably the best coffee drink I had on the ship. Lines can get long here in the morning, so just be patient. Or you can even order this coffee directly to you on the Princess app, which we did a few times, and it was really convenient. Then we have the Princess Live area. So this is where you'll find things like karaoke, lectures on the different ports. It's a smaller venue, but it's perfect for smaller events such as karaoke. So because there's not as much seating in here, like for example, the lectures on Alaska's glaciers kind of got filled up really quickly. So just keep an eye out on the daily schedule to see if anything's happening and show up early or make a reservation if needed. So you can find these types of activities at Princess Live. Nearby, you'll find the library, which is a small library on the ship where you can get books for free. You can do some daily Sudoku puzzles. You can play board games. Not the biggest library in the world, but there are a lot of different books and magazines in here. And I enjoyed coming here when I was looking for a quiet place to do some reading or just relaxing. And it does get a little bit busy with some people playing board games like checkers and chess. But if you're looking for a nice space to go, I would recommend the library. And you can even take your coffee from the Princess Live Cafe in here while you do your reading or play some games. All right, and if we keep walking back, we'll find a few more areas in this part of the ship, starting with the Wheelhouse Bar, which is on deck 7 aft. And this is a nice bar that has a piano, so you'll find some music here. And they also have a pretty cool menu, so I would recommend browsing the cocktails before you just order whatever you usually order, because they have a lot of different beers here as well as specialty cocktails. And the seating is nice here too, and it's never overly crowded, especially compared to some of the areas in the atrium. So I really enjoyed coming to the Wheelhouse Bar. Next door we have the Crown Grill, and this is the steakhouse specialty restaurant on the Royal Princess. The cover charge to dine here is $39, and some of the menu items include black tiger prawn, hand-cut beef filet tartare, some lobster cake, shrimp and pancetta bisque soup, black and blue onion soup, and some beef chops and veal and lamb chops, and some New York strip steak, Kansas City strip, so you'll find a lot of different options here. And at the end of this area of the ship is the Vista Lounge, which is a big space where you'll find a lot of different events like some jazz music, the art auctions, different enrichment lectures about Alaska. When you visit Glacier Bay National Park in Alaska, this is where the park rangers will set up camp for the day, and they'll have some informational brochures here too. And this is a quiet space to go when there's nothing else going on around the ship, when you just want a really peaceful environment. There's some windows you can open the blinds to see outside. All right, if you're looking for entertainment, the Princess Theater is on decks 6 and 7 in the front of the ship. I loved the entertainment on my Princess cruise. I found some of the singing to be just spectacular, especially this one opera singer that I felt like should have been in a professional opera on land. So even though I'm not usually the biggest entertainment person on cruise ships, I attended more shows on this cruise ship than I normally do, and it was all really impressive. So don't miss any shows on the Royal Princess. Make sure you make reservations so you have a spot. Okay, let's go look at the cabins on the Royal Princess. Now, I had an interior cabin on this cruise, and it was my favorite interior cabin I've ever had. These small windowless rooms are usually really basic, but I loved the layout on this cruise ship. So in the main area of the room were 2 beds, which we had separated. You could put this as one king bed if you want. And this was really spacious. There was a ton of walking room, and they also had these nightstands that were motion light activated. So inside rooms can be really dark. So when I would get out of bed in the middle of the night, a light would turn on. And then there was this desk and vanity area across from the beds, and it had a lot of storage space and a TV with free movies and some outlets and a mini fridge and some shelves. And there was also a full-length mirror for getting ready, which I appreciated. And then behind that was this walk-in closet area. So this was really nice when traveling with my sister, because one of us could be getting changed and ready in this part of the room while the other person was hanging out on their bed. So it was a very private area, and it made the room feel a lot bigger too. And there was ample storage space here. There were some open shelves, and then if you opened this closet door, you would find more shelves. And then the bathroom is in this area too, and it's just your standard cruise ship bathroom. Nothing too special, but there was some hand soap and lotion too, which I appreciated. Quite small like any cruise ship bathroom, but it has everything you need for your time on board. And in the shower, you would find some shampoo and body wash. If you use conditioner, be sure to bring your own. Okay, and if we keep going down the hallways, we're going to find the laundromat. This was one of my favorite things about sailing on Princess compared to any other cruise line I've sailed on, and that was that I could use the self-service laundromat for only $3.50 to wash and the same amount to dry. So having the ability to wash my own clothes here was nice, and they also had irons. So if you have wrinkly clothes, you could use the irons here. Because you're not able to bring irons on a cruise ship, it's a fire hazard. So I found this to be really convenient, and because I was in the middle of a 2-week trip and this was the second part, I didn't have time to wash my clothes before the cruise began. So on the first day of my cruise, I was able to get on board and wash my clothes for cheap. And this is something that not all cruise lines have, so I really appreciated Princess Cruises having a self-service laundromat. All right, we have just a few things left on our tour. So here are the main dining rooms. There are 3 main dining rooms on the Royal Princess, but they all have the same menu, so it just depends on your dining time. So this was one of the dining rooms, and I only ate here 3 times out of the 7 nights of my cruise, just because I usually like going to the buffet. But all the meals I had in the dining room were quite good. I especially liked the Italian night in the dining room with these crispy arancini, and I got a risotto and some minestrone soup. It was all pretty delicious, I have to say. And there was some chicken parmesan here too. And in the dining room, you can order as much as you want: appetizers, desserts, main courses. Make sure you try the Princess Love Boat Dream. This is the cruise line's signature dessert, and it was about 20 times better than I ever expected it to be. I wish I could replicate this at home. And then we have the fitness center. So if you are looking to get a workout in and you don't want to use the running track or the sports court outside, you can find a variety of workout machines in the fitness center. They have cardio machines, weight machines, and a lot of these machines have amazing views of the outdoors. There's nothing quite like exercising with such a great view outside. And you can come here as much as you want on your cruise. It can be busy in the morning, but at any other time of day, there's never many people in here. So if you'd like to keep up an exercise schedule while you're on vacation, this is the place to do it. And then we also have the spa, the Lotus Spa and Salon. Now, I wasn't really able to film in here, so I have a few photos, but the spa is where you can get different salon treatments like pedicures and manicures, and then massages. And they also have a really nice thermal suite area that you can buy a pass for the cruise. This area has some jacuzzis, hot stone loungers, and it's a really nice space and some saunas. If you're looking for just a nice spa getaway, it's a pretty good value. And then we have Camp Discovery. So this is Princess Cruises Kids Club that is complimentary for most hours of the day. It's broken into age groups, so this is the outdoor area of the teen club. Now, I wasn't able to film in all of the kids club areas, but if you have kids, you can drop them off for fun programming. The teens especially can meet a lot of new friends, which is always really nice. And then for younger kids, they have a variety of events. In Alaska, they'll have some special Alaska events, such as the Junior Rangers program when you visit Glacier Bay National Park. And because it's broken into age groups, your kids can have age-appropriate activities. There's different games, air hockey, different little playground equipment for the younger children. So kids programming on cruise ships is always a really nice option for families, especially if you're looking for some time away from the kids, and they will surely have fun. All right, and then we have the Suite Lounge. Now, I wasn't able to film in here, but if you're in a suite, you can access this exclusive area. And lastly, there's the Wedding Chapel. So if you are going to a wedding on the cruise ship, this is where you'll go. If you're not going to a wedding, then there's little chance you'll ever spend time here, but this is where weddings happen on the ship. So there you have it. There's our full cruise ship tour of the Royal Princess by Princess Cruises. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications to our channel so that way you are notified every time we at Cruise Blog post a new video. Until next time, happy cruising!